Full arch preps are exhausting for me physically and mentally. So what you're seeing here is a combined model of the ideal design over the existing dentition, and you're seeing me mark onto the model areas where the existing dentition sticks through the ideal design. I then use a putty matrix. I transfer that mock-up onto the teeth, and then the areas of the tooth that are then showing through the putty, I Sharpie, and then you reduce that Sharpie mark so that it fits within the planes of your ideal design. And that's what you're seeing me do here. You eyeball it a little bit, but you remove that Sharpie mark, or the Sharpie marks plural, until the teeth sit within your mock-up. And then I use the guided reduction burrs. This is a 2mm burr, so I'm not using the entire 2mm burr, but in my hands, the fault I typically have is I'm under reducing, and this is for Emax restorations, full arch of veneer lays. And so I don't quite go the full depth of this 2mm burr. And then after everything is done and finished and polished, I'll generally have between 1.5 millimeters and 1 millimeter of reduction. If I don't use the entire length of that burr, or I use a smaller, less deep burr, I find that my mistake is I typically under reduce. And then I use the Robert Winter restorative burr kit. This is a guided reduction burr. For me, this is a relatively aggressive prep. I do go through the contacts, as you'll see in just a minute, and this is about a 0.8 millimeter reduction through the middle of the mock-up. So once these reductions are guided, marks are made, just like veneers. Take my pencil marks into those little grooves, and then I'm using coarse burrs to essentially connect the dots. So I like this sort of flat tabletop burr to grossly remove the occlusal material that's left, and you'll see me just kind of work that all the way across. And then a relatively good size chamfer burr across the facial and into the interproximal. Again, we have to remember that when you're using or creating a chamfer margin, you're only using half of the width of the tip of the burr, not the entire burr. So it looks a little bit wider than it is. And then after most of that reduction is done, I'm coming back with a fine burr and refining my margins, making sure that those internal line angles are smooth. This is going to be milled Emax, so of course we can't have sharp internal line angles. So smoothing the margins, making sure those margins are easily captured by the scanner, and that's where I spend most of my time.